Shut up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. Guess what? It's Dan and Jan. Once again, we're going yard, right, Jan?
We are, and and people don't even see our smooth transition into this program.
Yeah, like it's crazy how we
It's
just
because you're a genius.
no, it's you. It's
No,
you. Yes,
if this was
because
up to me, we wouldn't be on the air. I mean,
well,
I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
but like somehow that background appears. It's like amazing, and it comes up. If you pray long enough, it'll show up, and that's what happened. And all I can say about that is amen. You know,
Amen is correct,
yeah,
and
amen.
it is a brilliant background, by the way.
It is. It is. I love it. I
Oh,
love it. It's great.
okay, good talking to you. I'll see you later.
Here, see it. This is great, and we got our baseball hats on. That's a Hall of Fame hat, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
This
that was. Well,
and
you've been there. You've been to the Hall of Fame.
I have been to the Hall of Fame, one of the great experiences of my life. I would
That's
urge everyone
absolutely.
who loves baseball to go there.
Yeah.
And even if you're not loving it, if you like it, take your family, take your kids, because they'll love it. Believe me, it's just
The whole Cooperstown community is so cool.
it
I mean,
is.
sure, the Hall of Fame is, I don't know about you, but the first time I went, I was a little shocked at how small it was, the building.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought, oh man, Hall of Fame, it's going to be huge. And it wasn't, but that was part of the quaintness of it.
yeah. That's exactly the way I felt. There was only one other place I felt that way.
Hmm.
The Alamo. You ever been to the Alamo?
I have not.
Yes, it's like you expect this huge place where this big battle took place, and it's sort of like, a small little building. And of course, everybody was smaller then too. So there
Yeah, have you been to San Quentin? I mean, to Alcatraz?
to where Alcatraz. No, my lawyer made sure I wouldn't go there, but no,
Okay.
I wasn't. Were you there?
That was the same thing there. Went to Alcatraz and whoa, it was so small. I mean,
Really?
I literally could have stood at one end in one of the long corridors, which would have spanned the entire length of it, and easily thrown a baseball all the way to the other end.
Really?
It was so small, and then the solitary area where the Birdman was and
Right.
Capone was, and that was so little. I just it was creepy. It was a creepy
Yeah.
place, but again, it was just small.
Yeah, it's weird. These things that we imagine as being big,
Right.
uh, they're not. And
Yeah.
I, I remember going back to my elementary school for the first time. That's
Yeah.
a trip because when you're a kid, you think it's so big, but when you
Oh,
get there, all the chairs are tiny. Everything's tiny because they're made for little kids.
the
So it's
kids.
very interesting.
It
Very
is.
interesting.
And really, when I went to George Washington High School here, it was the first year it opened.
Mm.
And they had built four new high schools, all named after presidents. And
Oh, that's cool.
George Washington, was just this immense what? I went back umpteen years later and I thought, wow, this is just ain't that big. You know,
Yeah, it's
it's
tiny. It's tiny.
this is a funny little story. Ken Griffey he was my boss in '96, Thorn BP, and then he left Rockies in '97. He went back to Cincinnati to the Reds.
This is Ken Griffey Senior.
Senior,
Yeah.
yeah, and anyway, the coach at GW, baseball coach, Cincinnati was coming to town, and he said, "Do you think Ken Griffey would come out and put on a hitting clinic for the team?" So I got old Ken. We've gotten to be pretty good friends, and Ken is younger than me, so he loved to constantly remind me I was older than he was. So I got a hold of him. He said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." So they came to town. I picked him up at the hotel downtown, took him out to GW, and we're walking through the halls, and on the way into the gym area, they had big signs of all the former teams, basketball, baseball, everybody. So, I've got the picture right up there, and it was in black and white. It's a real wide picture with all the players lined up. And so I said, Ken, look at this. Yeah. And he comes over. Yeah. And I said, and I'm in the middle. I was the tallest. See, there I am. He couldn't let it go. He says, he says, oh, right. That's before they had color photography, isn't it?
That's great.
He
That's
was
great.
he was a hoot. He was a hoot.
Well,
Yeah.
talking about photography before we get deep into baseball, the first photograph taken in the United States was of my high school, Central High School in Philadelphia. Yeah.
What?
It's, yeah, it's the oldest continuous public high school in the country, I believe. Maybe the oldest or second oldest. It was, I think it was 1836.
Your
So,
high school was in 18 built in, and you were there in what, 1837?
no, I was there in 1835 helping them build it.
35. Oh
So
yeah.
that's how I lost my hair. But uh, yeah, I think it's Central's 1836. Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
wait a minute. Am I right? 1836. Hold it.
Hold
Yeah, I
please.
should know that because we have a mini high school reunion. And
Okay.
every year now I feel embarrassed
No.
because I want to make sure that I am correct. Let's see. Yes, yes, yeah. It's the only high school in the let me see. It's the only high school in the United States that when you graduate, you get a bachelor's degree.
Uh, what?
Yeah, it's the only one authorized by an 1849 Act of Assembly to confer academic degrees, Bachelor of Arts. You
Whoa.
yes, 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 and it was set up. I was right. 1836 is correct. Um,
My goodness.
it was set up also to give master's degrees and doctorates. It was set up along the same lines as the University of Pennsylvania. But they don't give masters and doctorates anymore. But you do get a bachelor. You can
Still,
get
you
still
still get a bachelor's.
a bachelor's degree. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. It's the only one in the United States.
Well, why did I go then on to college? I could have just come there.
Well, and then there's people like me, you see, that you either pass every course with a certain grade to get your bachelor's degree, or you get a diploma.
Well,
And yeah, so but that's the story about that. And yesterday, like I said, or Wednesday, we had one of our mini reunions. We had 40 guys show up. It's the 224th class of Central High Philadelphia. So those of you who are watching,
oh,
it just yeah, the 224th class. That includes, by the way, when there were two classes per year. At one time there was, a February class and
oh,
a September class, or August class, whatever it was, or June class. That's it. January and June, or December and June, whatever it was. But yeah, we were the first one to go full year in years and years. So,
amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
amazing. And they had some great baseball teams.
When did they start playing baseball at the school? Do you know?
I would probably say shortly after it was formed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, baseball was around, so
Yeah, baseball was around. And I would think certainly by the 1870s or 80s, when the Phillies started playing and the A's came in the early 1900s. But it's, yeah. That's the story of my school, and we're all very close. All
Have
very.
have any major league ball players come out of that high school?
I would have to check.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but I would have to check. Well, I remember Ron Lewis. If you look him up, he was drafted by the Cardinals, and if he's watching us, check in with us, Ron, because he hit some of the longest home runs I've ever seen from a high school baseball player. And then, and he was scouted, I know, as I said.
Right.
I think the problem was I followed him was the curveball,
Hmm.
you know.
Not
So,
unusual.
yeah. But I would venture to say that there probably are major leaguers
I would,
who came out of there.
after all those years, you would think that
Yeah.
had to be the
Yeah.
case.
I mean,
Wow.
there's
Awesome.
yeah, there is a Hall of Fame, and we could go through that. Uh, there, we could go through that, but look up, and for all of you out there listening and watching, just look up the Central High School of Philadelphia Hall of Fame, and you'll see some people that you will definitely know who they are.
Are you in there?
I am not in there because somehow when I was supposed to go in there, COVID hit and I never made it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. No, I am not in there. But there
you
are
should.
some interesting people in there. Ed Wynn, remember Ed Wynn?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
The actor.
Um, there's some famous scientists. Uh, Ray Teller from what's his name? And Teller, Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller, yeah.
Yeah, he was in my class. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch. If you look it up, you'll
Wow.
be amazed who went there. Yeah,
Well, you should be in there.
I'll call him. Call him for me, will you?
Yeah, I'll call them.
Okay, tell him.
I'll lay it on them. What are you were missing a gem? Come on.
Throw a high inside fastball.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm good at that.
That
Remember,
that'll.
the two operative words in my pitching career were look out. So,
Hopefully, you're in their Hall of Fame in George Washington High School.
no, no.
Well, you better tell them to start a Hall of Fame.
Well, what? Oh, I don't even know if they have one. They may.
Tell them to
Our
start.
most famous graduate was Chauncey Billups.
Who? Oh, Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
He was well after me, but
Yeah.
who's
It's very interesting. It's
yeah.
very interesting.
So
So,
it was those were the days, weren't they?
those were the days when we were young and in our teens and a long time ago. But with all that said, we still love baseball to this day.
No, yeah.
And we talked about something that was very interesting to me, and that was a salary cap for baseball. Right now, think about this. They have the luxury tax, right?
Yeah, right.
Whatever that is. Okay.
Well, that doesn't mean squat to these guys.
No, I mean, when you have the money they have,
Right.
okay, so you figure the Phillies are over the salary cap. I mean, they go over now
Well,
almost every
all
year.
the big spenders do. They could care less.
Yeah, the Yankees and
Yeah.
probably the Cubs or the Dodgers for sure.
And then
And
they're supposed to take that money that goes over the luxury tax money and disperse it to the lower level teams
right.
to improve theirs. Well, I know of one team that used it for stadium improvements.
Really? I wonder who that was. Would they be playing in Philadelphia today against the Phillies?
I think that's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
you know, in 1998, I was throwing BP and I was good friends with the D hockey coach, and I got this stupid idea to be an agent, sports agent,
mm,
because I had contacts with the Rockies.
sure.
DU produces a lot of good NHL guys, whatever. So I went through all the rigmarole to get that done. And they were having a meeting in Phoenix for all agents and prospective agents to come down. And the four heads of the unions players' unions, baseball, football, hockey, and basketball were going to be there, and they were going to speak. So I went, and each of these men got up and spoke about their leagues and how they were doing, and the whole 9 yards. And the guy who went last was the head of the Players League Association, and was considered at the time the most powerful man in baseball.
Marvin Miller.
No, wasn't Miller.
After him?
Yeah, he's now, I think, the head of the National Hockey League Players Association.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I don't know, basketball went first, and they kind of gave a report of, we have this in our coffers. The players, have to pay in dues and blah. So the last one was baseball. And he got up, and his number was like twice, 3 times bigger than any of the rest of them. But
even football?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And well, look at the salaries in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, I'll never forget this. He said, the players' union in baseball, the only union that is bigger is the Soviet Union. So it's with regard to a cap in baseball, I don't think it's going to happen, no. Because the players, they're not going to vote for that and get curtailed on salary. The other side of that coin is I was doing a book signing at a big bookstore here in Denver years ago, and at the end I opened it up for Q&A, and there's a young guy sitting in the front, and who happened to work at Coors Field. So he says, I got a question. I said, okay. He said, well, how can they pay just arbitrary numbers, $5 million to a guy per year, and he can't even hit 200? And I said, well, that's a good question.
It is a good question.
I said, okay, I want you to imagine I'm talking to him, you're a contractor. And I call you and say, hey, would you come out and build a back porch on my house? And he goes, well, yeah. And I said, and I tell you, I don't care what it costs, I'll pay you $2 million to do it. Would you do it? He goes, yeah. I said, yeah. If they're going to pay me $5 million to hit 200, I'm going to take it.
Sure.
And I don't blame the players if the owners and the powers that be are dumb enough to give you that kind of money to play this kid's game and perform poorly. That's on them.
Yeah, and I think the minimum salary is $900 and something thousand now.
It might be. It's gone up. Keeps going up.
It's like close to $1 million.
Yeah, it is. And your performance seems to be irrelevant.
That's true.
We had, Chris Bryant here, who's virtually never played, and they gave him 140 million or something, and he's played 72 innings or something, and that's not his. He's a bad back.
Right.
No,
right.
I know he would love to play and perform well, but his back apparently just won't let him do it.
Well, I do it for half. I take half his salary, and I could be bad too.
I came up with an idea. And some of my buddies said, you got to take this to the Rockies. Back when I was throwing BP.
Right.
I said, for a proportional share of the minimum, I would guarantee I would throw 1 inning in a game. I would pitch 1 inning. Now, I might get just totally lit up, but as I walked from the mound to the dugout, I'd be going.
That's right.
I wouldn't like I would care. They could boo me all the way to the bank.
Well, it's very interesting to me that the Rockies, let's take the Rockies and say from a
Please
promotional
take
standpoint,
that. I'm sorry.
from a promotional standpoint, having you pitch an inning would be like, whoa, okay, come on out. I mean, it would be a big deal. It would
It
be a
would.
big,
Every old person in Denver would go to the game.
that would fill the joint up.
It would.
I
It
fly
would.
out just for that. I mean,
Yeah, it would have been, and I would have done it in a heartbeat. That wouldn't have bothered me at all. I was used to throwing off that mound, and the major.
right.
Who knows? I might get away with something.
Well, it's funny because last night, the Phillies, one of my favorite ball players on the Phillies. I love the Phillies, though
Oh,
they
I know. I know.
pitch. But Garrett Stubbs,
Yeah.
okay, so he's like the second string or third string catcher. They now have three catchers. But Garrett was on the team and is always backing up JT Realmuto. But when he went to the minors this year, started playing left field. He played a little third base. And I know he's pitched.
Hmm.
So last night, the Phillies lost their second game in like out of the last 12 or something like that, out of the last 10. Okay. And so they got lit up by the A's after winning the first two games.
Right.
And so first they had Garrett Stubbs playing third, towards the end, eighth
Right.
inning, whatever. And then they had him in left field, and he's started in left field a while back. Wait, maybe it's just third. No, I think he played third and left. And then he pitched. He pitched, I think, the bottom of the eighth or the ninth, bottom of the ninth. 5 pitches, got everybody out.
Was he throwing an
5.
easy pitch? Was he just?
No, he's got a great arm. I mean, he threw
Yeah.
2 guys out, the other day, in the
Right.
same game. But he's got a great arm. But he just 5. I went like, wait a minute, nobody could get anybody out this
No.
whole game. Garrett goes in there, and in 5 pitches, he gets the side out. And they were saying, well, it's amazing. Yeah.
Now they're all sitting on 95, and here comes 70, and whoa, what do we?
What do we do now?
What
Yeah,
do we do with
we do
that?
now. And
It's- It's a
amazing.
curious thing. When I was throwing in the over 30 league, I think it was. Anyway, we were playing one of the other. We were the top 2 teams in the league, and I'm pitching, and I started an inning, and as I went forward, my cleat on my left foot caught on the dirt,
Wow.
and I kind of stumbled a little, and I literally threw this bloop pitch, and just to keep throwing, and the guy fouled it off. He couldn't resist, fouled it off, and I thought, So I got back up. I threw another one. He popped it up to the first baseman. 2 pitches, 1 out. The next guy comes up. They're all thinking, well, he's going to go back to. I threw another one. He popped it up 400 feet straight up, kind of over the mound. I caught it. 2 outs, 3 pitches. Next guy comes up. I do it again. He pops up to third base.
4 pitches, 3 outs.
4 pitches, 3 outs. The catcher comes in. I guess I hadn't put it together. So we went in, and the catcher comes over, and he goes, "Do you know what just happened?" And I said, "Yeah, these guys popped up." He said, "You threw 4 pitches. I never caught any of them, and you got 3 outs."
Wow.
I said, "That's got to be some kind of record."
Wow.
The only time that ever happened, and it was bizarre. That ball comes just like slow pitch softball, comes lobbing in there, and they go, "Whoa, yeah," and they get under it and pop it up.
Yeah. Wow. The catcher never caught
Never caught.
a pitch in that inning.
you've heard that old Whitey Ford story, haven't you?
Which
They
one?
were, uh, I don't know where the Yankees were playing, and but anyway, he threw his first pitch, and I think they were playing the White Sox. Anyway, the guy laid down a bunt. He's on. Second pitch, uh, a guy hits a soft single to right. So two pitches, two guys on. Third guy up, who happened to be was Minnie Minoso,
Oh yeah, it was great.
he hit him. Three guys, three pitches, bases loaded. Fourth guy up, and I don't know, hits a home run. Four pitches, he's down 4-0.
Wow.
Out comes Stingle to the mound. And of course, Yogi comes out. Stingle turns to Yogi and he goes, "What's he got?" He says, "I don't know. I haven't caught anything yet." I mean, it's which kind of was in a very minuscule way, kind of what I did with the four pitches.
That's amazing. It really is. I
It
mean,
was.
that's sort of happened yesterday with the Phillies. It was more than that, but this young fella, Andrew Painter, who's like their top prospect star, young star, he's in rotation now. And for some reason, he had an off night in the first inning. I think the first four batters, I think, was a single, a home run, a single, and a home run. Or maybe there was a walk in there that wasn't that single. And yes, he was already down 4-0 in like the first couple minutes. And I went, uh-oh. You know, a lot of times you think, well, the Phillies can get back in it. You know,
Sure.
and 2 innings later, it was 7-0. And I went, oh, no, this isn't looking good. So
No.
you watch it hoping that maybe Schwarber will hit a home run or Harper will hit a home run,
Sure.
see what happens. And that's what happened. Schwarber hit a home run. So at least the fans got their, you know,
Right.
rush.
Right.
But it's interesting to me how normally one thing like that can just deflate a whole stadium worth of people. And to something we talked about before, and I wonder how it impacts the team. You know, the Phillies went through this like 8-game losing streak or something. Maybe it was 10, but I think it was 8. And I know the Mets went through the same thing, 11 games or whatever.
Till they
And
came here. I'm sorry.
what's that?
Till they came here to Denver.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Then they did good here.
Well, we're hoping for that tonight in Philadelphia. But what does that do to a team? How do the players think? What do they think? Have you been in a dugout on a major league level or with a team on a major league level that goes through one of those streaks? The Rockies had great teams, and then they had some not so great teams.
Right.
What do the players do to get out of that funk? What do they talk about?
Well, I think first of all, putting the fans aside, the management aside, even the coaches aside, the players on any sport, any team, the players know who the best players are. They know that.
Right.
And now you kind of zone in on the pitching. Why was it when Orel Hershiser threw for the Dodgers, he would get virtually no run support? He had won games 2-0, 3-1. I mean, okay. Why was that? Well, I think it's because they know he ain't giving anything up. So they're not pressing offensively because, hey, we get a couple, 3 runs, he's going to win.
Right.
Conversely, oh, Bill Smith's on the mound. We're going to have to score 12 runs to win this game.
Yeah, so your best pitcher usually faces their best pitcher.
That used to be the case. Now I have no idea what's going on with, they have these starters. What do they call them? They just
Openers. Open.
openers. That's a good one. Yeah. I think they open the gates to, never mind.
And say, do you want to start today?
But, the position players, they know, their pitchers better than anybody else because they see him throw all the time.
Right.
And they know mentally, oh man, this is going to be a rough night. We're going to have to score. Well, if they're facing a Hershiser or a Schwarzer or back in the day a Koufax or something, whoa. John Smoltz told this story. Player he had played with early on, and I guess, and anyway, the guy was the leadoff hitter, and they were facing Koufax, and so the first guy's up, and shockingly, Koufax strikes him out, and he's coming back to the dugout, and the next, so what's he got? And he goes, "This game is over." one hitter in, but
and all Koufax needed was Martin Wills to get on first base, and that was it. He was there third, right?
Oh yeah, and those Dodger players knew what we have to do tonight is play defense.
Right.
We'll win this game if we play defense.
Correct.
Because he's not going to give anything up. And again, conversely, then you get a guy who's got a 6.75 ERA. Mama, we're going to have to put some runs on the board.
Yeah.
And I think that, and then if you get down early, it's the first, second inning, and you're already down 7-0 in the second or third. You're going, first of all, are we going to hold them to just 7 runs for 5 or 6 more innings? Probably not. And we've got this hill to climb to get beyond that. I think it just mentally plays into the team. And there's nothing a manager or coach can do about that. I mean, you put the guy on the mound and hope he can get the job done. And if it is a Koufax, hey, I'm going to go get some pizza. I'll come in the fourth because it's be a rare night he's going to go south. But, and I think I told you last time, the real proof of a pitcher to me is the whip. Not the. You ask any relief pitcher in Major League Baseball, hey, what do you think of the ERA? They'll go off because they can have 9 good innings and then have a bad 10th inning.
Right.
Up goes the earned run average. The whip is just walks, hits, innings pitched. That'll tell me if the guy's around a 1, he's a stud. If he's a 2, better look at playing him in left. I mean, it's.
Wow. Yeah. Walks, hits, innings pitched.
That's it.
That's it. That is it.
It's biblical. It's just.
Yeah.
And it's a fair. To me, it's a much more fair estimation of what a relief pitcher is than
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Run average. Yeah, that's if he's got a bad 10th inning out of 10 innings and 9 are good, his whip's still going to be okay.
Yeah, but his ERA will be. I mean, if he gives up 2 runs, he goes from 0 to 2.0. Well, it's a little less because it's the 10th inning, but
right.
But still, there's this other thing. This relief pitcher the Phillies have is Duran. You've heard of him? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's a stud. But what the Phillies do, and the Mets did this with I forget the relief pitcher's name, but anyway, they would play trumpets, and he'd walk in, and it was a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
The Phillies have this thing too with Duran, where they turn off all the lights in the stadium. People turn their phones on so you can see all,
Oh, well, of course.
the light from the phone.
Right.
So it's a spectacle. And then they play a song, and it's in Spanish because he speaks Spanish. And then they have um, the the scoreboard lights up, and then there's the flames on the scoreboard or around it, and a spider. They must call him Spider or whatever. Spider comes on, a giant spider, and it's this whole thing. And I always think, why do they do that? I get it. It's a spectacle. People love it. They're ready for it. But then he'll come in and he'll give up 2 runs or 3 runs and blow the game. I mean, it's happened.
Sure.
Not frequently. He's a great reliever, but it's like, just let him come in.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure that,
yeah, that's a lot of pressure on him. Yeah. So
absolutely.
just let him come in and do his job.
But
And
they're
not
doing it for the fans. They don't care.
right. No, they don't.
It's
They're there, and they put their phone on, and
right.
they video it and send it to all their friends. But there are certain things that baseball does that when you and I were baseball fans and looking at, Ebbets Field or Connie Mack Stadium, whatever, they didn't have that to begin with. They didn't have lighting up scoreboards. The guy who did that was Bill Veeck in
Right.
Chicago. He had things going off, but um, for the White Sox, he did in Cleveland too. I think he owned Cleveland too. I could be wrong, but um, there's something great about basic baseball
Well, yeah,
without the big hoop-de-doos and stuff.
yeah. But they're trying to compete with the NFL now and NBA and the National Hockey League, where there's a lot of that
Yeah, there is.
stuff, and they're sadly, I think baseball is losing a lot of younger fans because they'll give you the old, it's slow and boring.
Which
They
is just the opposite.
well, yeah, it's the most
And
cerebral of all the games, but they don't, they don't care about. I mean, you can watch a game on TV, and if you see young people, you'll see them.
yeah, that's
They're not watching unless a
it.
guy hits a home run, then they all look up. But
I,
um,
I might have said this before, but uh, when my mom was alive, let her rest in peace. And when she was alive, I'd go there usually once a week, and on Sunday I'd go there, and we watched the Phillies.
hmm,
Now during football season, we maybe flip between the Phillies and the
right,
Eagles.
right,
But she used to say to me, "I can't watch football.
yeah,
I'll watch it, but it's hard for me to watch because it's so boring." That it's just the opposite of what other people say. And I
right,
said, "Why do you say that, Mom?" And she said, "It's 10 seconds of action and 3 minutes of waiting, and another 15 seconds of action and 2 minutes of waiting. In
yeah,
baseball, at least something's going on. You watch the people move around on the field.
right,
You figure out they talk to each other. There's always something going on."
yeah.
And and I've always said that, but the younger people, it's got to be a burst.
Oh yeah,
It seems like I can't be wrong.
collisions and violence, and
Yeah, I mean, I
all
do
that.
have in my class. I had a couple guys from the baseball team,
Right,
and their whole, they get it. They get the whole baseball. I had a lot of fans, baseball fans in my classes, but it's like, hey, everybody, slow down, slow down from all the, explosive stuff, and watch, and you'll always see people moving,
yeah,
always. And they're moving because they know that this guy has a tendency to hit that way or this way. It
sure,
was
sure,
a rise. You
yeah,
know, he's a great ball player. Hits well. Plays for the Giants now, I think, right? And all of a sudden, I'm looking at the screen, and there's Alec Boehm, the third baseman. He's moving to his left towards the shortstop, and I'm thinking he's filling up the hole or something. So
Yeah.
sure enough, the next second he hits a line drive right to him.
Wow.
Right to him. And they interviewed him, and he said, well, because I could see the way he was standing in the box,
Wow.
I knew his tendency how to hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I moved. And
Wow.
that's like
Yeah.
cerebral part of baseball.
Oh, absolutely. There are over 11 ways to score from third base.
Yes.
Only
And let's discuss that. Okay.
only 7 from second and 3 from first.
Really?
And a hit's a hit. You can't go, well, if you hit a double, if you hit no. A hit's a hit. That's just
Right.
one of them. So
Right.
I used to have them all down. It's a great trivia question for baseball people. But so it behooves you to get from first to third. You're going to have a way better chance of scoring from third on a wild pitch, pass ball, air. I mean, you can go down the list of them.
Let's go down the list.
Well, I can't.
Let me see if I can come up with some of them. A wild pitch,
Wild pitch,
a pass ball,
balk,
a walk,
balk,
a balk, right.
a bases loaded walk,
Bases loaded walk,
air,
an error.
hit by pitch. The
Well,
bases are loaded. You get hit.
Bases loaded, hit by pitch. A bases loaded hit. No, a hit. A hit.
A hit's a hit. You can't.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
Hit's a hit. Wait,
I used to have them and I don't anymore.
Well, listen, if you're listening, folks, put them down in the bottom there. Put them in the bottom in the comments. So I remember a steal a home.
Yeah.
Steal a home.
Steal. Yeah. Yeah.
Be that there could also be a double steal where the catcher throws to second, and that's a delayed steal. Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And well, let's see, we're missing 2, but we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll think of them along the path.
Yeah. So
but the point is, if you're on third base, you got a way bigger chance of scoring than you do second and infinitely from first. So it's but that's part of the cerebral part of the game.
It is.
You have these 11 ways that we had an announcer with the Rockies. Oh man, I just drew a blank on his name. He's a color guy. He was great. He played in the bigs. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he would study. I'd see him in the clubhouse before the game, and he had papers everywhere. And boy, he did his homework on the game, the players, the whole 9 yards. So on a broadcast, he had said this. There are over 11 ways to score from third base. Well, they were opening a new kind of restaurant bar downtown close to Coors Field. And one of my close buddies had been a great catcher, signed with the Cardinals, and he was a part owner. He's my financial guy now, but he was part owner. So we invited, hey, you got to come to this. Yeah. So I went because there were a lot of the players there. And Dave, I'll think of it. So he's standing over there, sipping on a beer, and I walked over and we knew who each other was. And I said, hey, last night you mentioned there are over 11 ways to score from third base. And he goes, yeah. And I said, what are they? And he goes, I have no idea.
Well, believe it or not, while you were talking, I thought of another one.
Okay.
Catcher's interference with the bases loaded.
Hello. There you go.
Right? Catcher's interference.
So
Yeah, well, I mean, we did say an error, I guess, two. That's another one, but that's not an error. That's catcher's interference.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I have no idea. So
It's the rules are so. If you're listening and watching and you think of it, see if you can come up with the last one because it's just the beauty of baseball. There's no other game like it, and it's all about physics and it's all about movement. It's all about the air. Okay, I know that in football, they'll say it's windy and the place kicker
sure.
misses it because of this and that. Baseball, I mean, it affects the pitcher, it affects the hitter, it affects the fielder, it
Absolutely.
affects the tight end in football. I know that, but it affects so many things. And
Right.
the air pressure, right, in Colorado is different than in Philadelphia, and
Yeah.
that impacts the way a ball is hit. And if you look at the dimensions of every stadium, that
Yeah.
impacts it.
I, you know, they have this thing, well, you got to pitch a mile high.
Right.
Shut up. It's no
Yeah.
different than pitching it. Because I have thrown in different states, around sea level up here. What pitchers will tell you, as opposed to the altitude here, because I think they figured out a fly ball will carry an extra 7 feet or something. Shut
Right.
up. Really?
Yeah.
But what the pitchers will tell you is the dryness of the air. The air is very dry here.
Right.
And to grip that ball that's, looks like it has seams, but you don't really feel them a lot, is
Yeah.
very, very difficult. As opposed to throwing in areas where there's Philadelphia, there's humidity, Chicago,
Right.
it's easier to grip the ball.
Huh.
But
I didn't realize that. So
yeah,
it's shinier. It's the feeling of not shinier, but it slips.
there's no tackiness to it,
Yeah.
which I mean, they've rubbed all of them down so that pristine shininess is gone, but still compared to, and that just, a guy will throw a pitch and there's a ground ball at third base and he throws the runner out and they throw the ball back into him and the guy will throw it out. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. They do
Use
that.
the scuff helps.
Yeah.
If there's a little scuff, it's going to catch the air, but that's not the way it's done anymore.
They
And
must throw out 100 baseballs a game. Easy.
or sometimes the umpire will throw a new ball and the guy will look at it and throw it out.
Yeah.
I told you about Jocko, the guy Jocko
Jocko Conlon.
the great umpire, and
Yeah. Jocko Conlon. Yeah.
he threw a ball out to this pitcher, and the pitcher threw it out. Like the second one, Jocko went out in front, and dumped all the balls out in front of the plate, and said, "Pick one." I don't know, Plus, if it's a little scuffier, the grip's better. You can grip it better. But what am I thinking? That's old time baseball.
Well, the interesting thing is now when the pitchers come off the mound at the end of the inning, their half inning, the umpires check their hands for
And their gloves, see if they're using any
yeah, but
substances.
right. But you would need it in Colorado and you don't need it in Philadelphia. It's like so the pitcher's at a disadvantage in that sense. But
A little bit. It's the dryness of the air is, I think, here a factor for sure.
right,
But if you can pitch, guess
you
what?
can pitch.
You can pitch anywhere.
Right, exactly.
It's, but pitching. Well, think of this. You'll hear announcers and scouts and whatever say, "Man, this guy can throw hard." They don't say he can pitch hard.
Right,
He can
right,
throw hard. Well, that's cool. How can he pitch?
right, exactly.
It's
Uh,
huge difference. But
Maddox was a pitcher.
Max,
Maddox.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was a surgeon. When they in '95, the Rockies' first year at Coors, they made the playoffs as a wild card, and they had to play the uh,
Braves.
Braves, who had Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz and
And they
Avery.
they won it all that year. It's the one time they won it, I think, in '95.
And so they came to town, to play here. And I was, I threw BP before the games, and but I was walking by the coach's locker room, and there was Art Howe. He was the hitting coach, and he's got a screen, and he's watching Maddox. He's just watching videos of Maddox pitch. And I stepped in, and I'm kind of watching him a little bit with him, and I said, the guy is a surgeon. And he said, yes, he is. And he was.
Yeah, it was.
He didn't. I heard him the other day say he had been taught early on by a high school coach that location was way more important than velocity.
Yeah.
And he said, I ran with it. So he'd pick you in, he'd pick you out, up and down. You had no idea where that pitch was going to be. But he did. And he'd get you leaning, or he'd get you on your back for, whatever. And he would have a field day with lots of hitters today because they just want to hit the ball in the seats.
True. I would love to see him pitch today. Wheeler is sort of like that now. The best pitchers are like that. I mean, they may throw, Nolan Ryan may throw 100 miles an hour, 102, whatever it was, but he knew where to place that 102. He knew where to place that 100.
And he had a pretty darn good hook.
Yeah, he had a good hook. Well, it's like Steve Carlton's slider. I mean, it's like people couldn't hit it. And I think I mentioned this before. I was standing right behind home plate when I was a vendor at Diamondback Stadium, and I saw Sandy Koufax, and he was cutting it off there, and I went, I don't know how anybody could hit that.
No.
How could they hit that? And how does it do that?
Well, they have normally long fingers.
Yeah, but it goes all the way and then goes like this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you teach a ball to like go 60 feet and then the last 6 inches go down, or 55 feet?
Yeah.
And the guy thinks it's coming in and all of a sudden it disappears. How does that happen? What's the physics behind that?
Well, it's the release point, and you, as a pitcher, you learn what that release point is. I mean, you feel it. You feel that the important for a breaking pitch, a slider, a curveball, is your middle finger. Your index fingers. Let me grab a ball here. Your index finger is, to a great extent, although there are some guys throw a knuckle curve. I have never understood how that's even possible. But
somebody throws it. Aaron Nola throws it on the Phillies.
However, that kind of validates my point. Your index finger is relatively unimportant. So here's the ball, and you get that middle finger laying on that seam. Right. And this one is there, or I can't do the knuckle thing. But it's if you're smart, at least when I worked with pitchers, you don't want a gap here. You want them together. It's like one big fat finger.
Wow.
And then as I come through, what am I going to do? I'm going to take that middle finger and snap it down. I'm going to pull down on that seam. And that creates that spin.
Wait a minute now. So I got this, right? So I am looking. Oh, I got to get in there. It's that?
Well, you could go up where the two seams come together.
Right
and
here.
Put your middle finger. No. Now move your middle finger over the top of that seam. Up.
My middle finger.
Their middle finger. See how I've got it over that seam? Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go. There you go.
that's it.
You put your
And then that
index,
over here.
yeah. And then when you come through, you snap. I mean, you literally, there are some guys who unfortunately throw their breaking pitch with their arm and their shoulder, and that should not be the case. That's hard up here. It should be a wrist forearm thing that
Oh,
you pull down and snap that. Well, what you learn as a pitcher is the arc of my throw. When am I going to let go of that? When am I going to do that snap? And if I let go of it up here too high, it's called, I think they call it a hanging curve.
oh yeah, yeah.
And then it winds up hanging out in the stands.
Right.
You've got to get it out in front and snap it. And you as a pitcher learn that release point. Man, when I let go of it right there, it doesn't dance, you know.
Wow.
And I mean, some guys, they'll do this seam. This tends to be, if I do this and I put that middle, see, this tends to be more of a four seam spin.
Mm-hmm.
This tends to be more of a two seam spin. So I just threw nothing but two seam spin. I could just feel that seam on my fingers. I'd snap it off. And it's just a matter, because you'll hear pitchers talk about release point.
Yeah.
What's your release point? Well, with a fastball, hello, you've just got to figure out, how am I going to get it out here in front of me to keep the ball down in the zone or up and whatever. But when you throw break-in pitches, that's a whole different gig. You've got to feel that seam.
And what does that do to your arm? What does that do? Like, all of a sudden, everybody seems to be, and there's one guy on the team, on every team, it seems, who's been through Tommy John surgery.
Oh, yeah. Skubal, arguably the
Yeah.
best pitcher, he's got elbow problems.
Yeah. So what causes that? Is it it,
Well, I mean, there's going to be natural wear and tear just throwing. And, he's probably been throwing pitches for, I don't know how old the guy is, but he's been throwing pitches a long time.
Yeah.
So are we going to assume, not just with him, but any pitcher that's, say, 25, 26 years old, they've probably been pitching since high school.
Yeah, at least,
into college, and then into maybe some minor league, and then the majors. They've thrown thousands of pitches, and they've thrown them all correctly? No, they haven't. So, but your arm doesn't know that.
Right.
It's along for the ride. I think I told you before, I would say to pitchers, you start to home plate, everything's going forward except what? Your arm. It's going the other way. Now it's got to catch up, and that can put a lot of strain and stress on rotator, labrum, elbow.
Yeah.
They said he's got loose, I guess, some loose bodies in his
elbow.
Those are bone chips.
Yeah, bone chips. Yeah.
And
they have to remove them, but it takes time to recover. And one thing that's interesting, I mean, there are a lot of switch hitters over the years, right? Philly's got Marchand, who's a switch hitter.
Mantle, of course.
Mantle, yeah. But there's not a lot of ambidextrous pitchers.
Right.
I think that there was one that I remember. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think one guy actually threw some in the bigs.
Yeah, he had a glove that he could just switch.
Right. Yeah.
I remember that.
That's beyond weird.
But it's got to preserve your arms because
or hurt both of them.
Or hurt both of them, Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's it's very unusual because you grow up with a dominant arm. You're the right hand, left handed, whatever. And that's all cool, and that's cool for pitching. But then when you come to hitting, hitting is a pull and push. But when young kids start hitting, all they want to do is push with their dominant arm.
Right.
I mean, they're right-handed, so they're like this, and old lefty tends to do not much. So you have to. I worked with an organization here, and anyway, there was a kid here in Denver years ago. He was a stud. He was a stud football player. He was a stud baseball player. Really put together, big strapping young man. And we were at a place, they had cages, and he was hitting in the cage. Well, I'm not a genius at hitting, but I was around some pretty good hitting coaches, with the Rockies.
Yeah.
So I watched him hitting, and here he is in high school, and he's pushing the bat. His left arm's along for the ride. So, a nice kid. So I cornered him and I said, "Hey, can I do a little drill with you?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sure." So I put him in the cage, and I got behind a screen, and I said, "Okay, take the bat, drop your right hand off, move the left hand up above where your right hand would be." Okay. And I said, "I'm just going to lob the ball into you, and you hit it." He couldn't do it.
Wow.
He was just popping it up, and he got irritated. That I said, "See, it's a pull and a push, not just a push." So he worked on that, boy, pulling that bat through the zone with that non-dominant arm, and that's what creates. I mean, how is it a Schwarber, pulls a 96-mile-an-hour fastball into the right field seats? He's pulling with that bat. That increases your bat speed dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's but the throwing with both hands, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. Harper, by the way, has one of the quickest bats I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
His swing is incredible.
And if you took him and put him in the cage and did that drill, put his right hand up here above where, I'm guaranteeing you, he'd smack the ball around.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Probably the opposite field too, as
he's
well.
He's pulling and pushing, which makes for a dramatic increase in bat speed. And the best way to do that, work on that, is off a tee. Kids don't need somebody throwing the ball to them. Work off of a tee.
You're right.
Set the tee up and just use that front arm. And okay, I'm going to go 3 to left field if I'm left-handed, 3 to center. I mean, Bichette here, when we had Bichette with the Rockies, he was the only guy I saw work off a tee. He would come out early for BP, and he'd go behind the cage, and he'd set up a tee and hit off of it.
Wow.
And then when he got in the cage, again, first hit, he'd go to right field. He was a left-handed hitter, but he'd go to right field for the first 2 or 3. Then he'd go to center field. Then he'd go to left field. He was working. If I'm left-handed and I'm going to go to right field, I've got to let the ball get deep. Well, that's tricky business at 98.
Yeah.
So, but I remember Ken Griffey. I said to him, because he taught Junior how to hit, and he was more than happy to tell you about that.
Yeah.
And
sure.
He said the great hitters can stay back longer than anybody else, which means they can see the ball longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely true.
Tony Gwynn is like that.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn was amazing. And the Phillies have a guy, their young center fielder, I think he's 21 or 22, Justin Crawford, whose father is Carl Crawford.
Yeah.
He was a really good player.
Right.
And you can see he taught his kid how to hit. I mean, you can just see it. And the kid's a good ball player. He's
Absolutely.
fast. He's defensively excellent, what I can see, and he knows how to hit. He's a line drive hitter.
Yeah.
He's a line drive hitter, but he smacks it all over the place. So um, all of this discussion is making me think that I should go out for the Phillies again. I mean, really,
I'm
I,
sorry.
I I think
Uh,
I
I
think
think
I
I
think they're
think
looking
that's
for
true.
somebody my
I
age.
think that's true.
Yeah,
We could have a deal where you get an inning in the field and get an at bat, and I could throw an inning.
so that would be perfect. That would be perfect.
And they would only have to pay us a proportional amount of the minimum.
Absolutely, one game's worth. It's
Hello. I
yeah,
mean,
great.
they'd get more people with walkers and crutches in there than they could imagine. God gracious, I mean, it would be fantastic.
They would promote that. It's things like it was like when Satchel Paige came out to play for the Braves.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
it was like a big deal.
it would.
Satchel, how old was he? 60 or something? Late 50s. I went like, Satchel Paige is still pitching. He was pitching. I mean, it wasn't like you know he
Right. Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know.
We could call it Vintage Day,
Yes, vintage day. I like that.
not Senior Citizen Day or Old Timers Day, vintage,
Vintage day.
because we are vintage.
We are vintage. We are, yes, we are very vintage. And
Yes.
and I will tell you, Jan, now that you've inspired me, I'm going to go work out now. I'm going to get that glove that I've stitched together when the rawhide broke, and I'm going to call my son and say, "Come on over and let's have a catch in the back." And with my grandson too, or when I get out to Colorado, I'm going to call
Oh,
my grandsons, and
yeah.
we're gonna have a whole thing.
Maybe
Jan,
play some pepper.
yeah, we'll do that
Absolutely.
whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're just, it's funny. You can play catch when you're 20 and you can still enjoy it at 80, you know?
True. It's
But
true.
there's something about playing catch with a baseball that's just unique.
It's true. And I love the sound of the ball hitting the glove. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
whoop.
Well,
It's
and
it,
I just, I will till I may have them bury me with a ball in my hand. I
yeah.
just, I've just always loved the feel of it.
Yeah.
The seam, not the, I mean, if you want to throw a spitter, you take this part of the ball and moisten it, and then you
Yeah.
grip there because it squirts out of your hand. But the seams, just feeling
Yeah.
the seams. That's why I wrote that fiction book called Seams. It was just, it's just that feel of the seams, you know.
And so it seems.
It seems we've probably come to the end.
And so it seems. Jan, once again, a great time.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everybody enjoys it as much as we do.
I hope so too. And listen, folks, don't forget subscribe to us, Dan and Jan Go Yard.
Yeah,
We're on YouTube, so do that subscribing. You'll watch us on TikTok and on an Instagram too. Jan,
because we are, if nothing else, very entertaining.
correct. Not to mention, we're not old. We're vintage.
Vintage, the vintage. Maybe we should have put that in. Dan and Jan go yard vintage.
Uh,
Uh,
or vintage Dan and Jan Go
that's
Yard.
it. What was I thinking?
Well, have a wonderful evening, sir.
You
We
as
will,
well. You
we
as
will see you soon next
well.
week.
Okay,
And remember, go yard.
I will.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Okay.
All right. Take care, Jan.
You too, Dan.
So, you